You know, the Victorian era was this incredible time of progress. Science was just leaping forward. But there was this really dark paradox at its heart. People were knowingly, willingly turning to deadly poisons, all for the sake of beauty. And it sounds completely insane, right? But this story, it isn't really about vanity. It's about survival. Okay, so let's just get right to it, because that's the question we're digging into today. Why on earth would you make a choice that seems so obviously self-destructive? Well, the answer, it pulls back the curtain on a hidden world of intense social pressure and truly impossible choices. I mean, just look at this table. What's so wild is how brutally honest it is. The ideal was this fragile, almost ghostly kind of beauty, and the chemicals to get there, oh, they were no secret. You wanted that pale porcelain skin? You used lead and arsenic. You wanted those big, bright, luminous eyes? That was belladonna, literally deadly nightshade. A perfectly flawless complexion? Yep, that'll be Mercury. This wasn't some back alley secret. This was the official toolkit for the job. So let's actually open up this toxic little makeup bag and take a quick look at the main culprits behind this, well, this killer look. First up, we've got lead. Now, lead-based makeup had been around for centuries, but it really hit its peak in Victorian face powders, like one called ceruse. It gave you this thick, white porcelain mask that was considered the absolute height of fashion. But here's the thing. Underneath that super fashionable mask, the lead was just seeping right into the skin, into the body. And the effects were slow, they built up over time, and they were a horrifying checklist of decay. Your hair starts falling out. Your teeth begin to rot. From there, it could progress to paralysis, then brain damage, and finally, organ failure and a slow, agonizing death. And this quote, wow, it just nails the complete disconnect, right? Doctors were seeing the consequences up close, recognizing that the very look society celebrated was actually just a symptom of someone being fatally poisoned. All right, next in the toolkit, arsenic. Now, unlike lead, which you put on your skin, arsenic was often eaten. Yeah, people would consume small amounts to get that fashionable, pale look by quite literally destroying their own red blood cells. And the irony here is just so cruel. You're using it to look flawless, but it could cause these awful skin lesions. Internally, it was a total wrecking ball, causing organ failure and cancer. And you couldn't just stop. The body actually became addicted to it, and trying to quit could kill you. And the poisons weren't just for skin. To get that wide-eyed, luminous, almost feverish look, women used eye drops made from belladonna, a plant with a much more appropriate name, deadly nightshade. So how it worked was the drops literally paralyzed the muscles in your iris, forcing the pupil to stay wide open. But the side effects were immediate and pretty severe. Your vision would blur, you'd get heart palpitations, maybe even hallucinations. And if you kept using it, the price was your sight. It could, and very often did, cause permanent blindness. This just captures that tragic bargain perfectly, doesn't it? The very thing that made a woman look so captivating was basically a ticking clock, slowly destroying the very sense it was supposed to be enhancing. So, why? Why on earth take these incredible risks? And this is where the story really shifts from just a weird historical fact to a deeply human drama. Because this wasn't about being foolish. It was a desperate, grim calculation. Okay, let's just bust the biggest myth right now, loud and clear. They knew the dangers of lead, of arsenic, of mercury. These were not secrets. Medical journals were filled with warnings. The real story isn't about ignorance. It's about why those warnings were so often ignored. And here is the brutal reality of the choice they faced. For a middle or upper-class woman back then, marriage wasn't just a romantic idea. It was her entire economic plan. And beauty was the #1 key to getting a good marriage proposal. The alternative? To become a spinster, a social failure facing a life of poverty, dependence, and just invisibility. So when you actually break it down, it becomes this logical, if totally grim, calculation, right? 1, your survival depends on marriage. 2, marriage depends on being beautiful. 3, there are no safe products to make you beautiful. So the conclusion? Risking your long-term health, even your life, for a chance at immediate survival suddenly doesn't seem so irrational. It seems necessary. But here's the twist. This incredibly dark chapter in history actually had a powerful, lasting legacy. All the suffering and death caused by these cosmetics, it directly led to the creation of the safety regulations we all just take for granted today. You need to remember this date, 1938. This massive landmark law, didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was forged in tragedy. It was built on decades of public outcry and documented poisonings from the very same beauty products we've been talking about. And you can see on this timeline, it was a long, hard road to get there. From the absolute peak of the crisis in the 1860s, it took over 70 years of horror stories, of growing public awareness, and a few smaller laws before we finally got the comprehensive protections of the FTC Act. 70 years. So the legacy is it's staggering. These tragedies helped create the modern FDA. They literally kickstarted the science of toxicology. They established the fundamental idea that you have a right to know what ingredients are in your products. Our safety today is, in a very real way, written in the poison of the past. And that brings us right back to today and to a really critical question. Sure, we have regulations now, but have we really escaped this dynamic of risking our health for the sake of beauty? Well, this chart kind of says it all. While the stuff you buy from trusted stores is overwhelmingly safe, new dangers have popped up. You've got this totally unregulated world of online sellers and this huge market for counterfeit products, and those have become the new channels for dangerous, toxic ingredients to find their way right back into our makeup bags. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. This history isn't just a story about makeup. It's a powerful and kind of timeless lesson in how intense social and economic pressure can make self-harm feel like a totally rational choice for survival. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. When we see the rise of unregulated diet trends, extreme cosmetic procedures, and the just immense pressure from social media to look a certain way, are we really so different? The poisons might have changed, but the pressures, they're still here.